A man whose life will blow you away. A man, my brother, my sister, who, for the very short time that he lived on earth, he contributed positively to the upliftment of black people in South Africa and beyond. A man whose photograph you see right there on the board. This is the photograph of Andries Tatane. Andries Tatane. Andries is spelled A-N-D-R-I-E-S. Some people also pronounce this Andries. Andries. Tatane is T-A-T-A-N-E. Andries Tatane was born on the 22nd day of February in 1978. He was shot and killed by the South African police on the 13th of April in 2011. Andries Tatane. In fact, my brother, my sister, who actually was Andries Tatane? Who was he? Now, my brother, my sister, Andries Tatane, as you were told, was born on the 22nd day of February in 1978, 4 years after I was born. And he was a member of the ANC. In 2008, he decided to leave the ANC to join the breakaway faction known as the COPE. C-O-P-E. Now, the ANC had always been seen as the leader of the black movement right there in South Africa. But some members were disgruntled and decided to break away. They founded what was known as the COPE, and their symbol is what you see on the shirt of our hero for today, Andries Tatane. COPE simply means Congress of the People. Congress of the People. COPE. My brother, my sister, and it's a South African political party formed in 2008 by former members of the African National Congress. The party was founded by former ANC members Masioa Lekota and Mbasma Chilowa, including Muleki George, my brother, my sister, and they intended it to be a full-fledged political party to run elections alongside the ANC. Our hero left the ANC in the year that the COPE was founded and joined the COPE, Congress of the People. Now, in the months before he lost his life, he also left the COPE and joined another group known as the MCC, which simply means Makaleng Concerned Citizens. It was an autonomous local community organization. In fact, our hero was a mathematics teacher. He taught mathematics, and he was also a community activist. My brother, my sister, he was also a journalist and a community newspaper publisher. And he intended running for the elections of South Africa as an independent candidate for MP. My brother, my sister, and the elections were supposed to take place in May 2011. And that was the same year he lost his life. He got married to a lady by name Rose Tatane, and it was a beautiful marriage. See what happened now? Whilst he was involved in so much activism, fighting for the rights of the community people and black people all over South Africa, it happened that on the 13th of April in 2011, Andries Tatane, together with 4,000 other people, went out on the streets of South Africa to protest. And they marched all the way to the Sechoto municipal offices. My brother, my sister, the Sechoto municipal offices. Now, the Sechoto municipality is a local municipality within the Thabo district municipality in the Free State province of South Africa. My brother, my sister, that was where they went. And it's located in Fricksburg, in the Free State, South Africa, to protest against poor service delivery in the area. Water was not regular. Electricity was not regular. The roads over there were poor, very poor, my brother. Sadly poor. And this was the protest. They all went out there to protest. And my brother, my sister, every year, South Africans remember this day, the day of protest. See what happened now. They went out on the street, protesting on the streets, making so much noise and singing freedom songs. They protested against poor service delivery in the area. The protesters were met by police who attempted to disperse the crowd with water cannons. There was no violence. The protesters did not break anything. They were not armed. They were not throwing stones. But they were making a lot of noise in singing and also in stamping their feet, in dancing, and also marching on the streets. Oh my God. The police started to fire water cannons at them. While some protesters were also arrested, some were brutally beaten and bundled into police vans. Tatane tried to argue with the police and to block a water cannon vehicle. He stood in front of the water vehicle and stopped it from moving. He argued with the police and called the police useless and racist. My brother, my sister, whilst this was happening, the police decided to use brutish force. I said brutish force. What did they do? They grabbed him by the arm, kicked him onto the floor, and dragged him on the streets. Tatane was seen to pull his arm away from the officer, who then started to beat him up with a big baton. He broke his head. Blood was pouring out. Tatane appeared to move aggressively towards this officer after being given so many licks and kicks. 4 or 5 other police officers then pulled him away and began to kick and beat him up with bigger batons. Now, during this time, he was twice shot in the chest. The first bullet hit him in the chest. He was still moving. They shot him again in the chest. Tatane collapsed shortly after and died on the scene 20 minutes later, whilst protesting for better service delivery for his people in the community. That same year, he wanted to run in the municipality elections. My brother, my sister, what happened to Tatane? While Tatane's death was as a result of police brutality, police at first pretended that no, they did not have any hand in it. My brother, my sister, this was during a protest, and everybody saw what happened. They succeeded in dispersing the crowd by using hot water from the water cannons, vehicles, and so on and so forth, beating them with batons and even firing shots in the air to send the people away. My brother, my sister, photographs were taken, and this captured the attention of the nation. Now, one of the main reasons for this was the fact that the entire incident was filmed on TV cameras, and it was later released. And as it was released, the police could not deny it anymore. Brother, my sister, the SABC, the national broadcaster, the South African Broadcasting Corporation, broadcast it, and that was when the whole of South Africa got so incensed. The public got so outraged about the manner in which he died. Tatane's death has been described as a watershed moment in public perceptions of state violence in anti-apartheid. An investigation into his death was launched by the Independent Complaints Directorate Commission. The South African Police Service has also launched its own internal investigation, my brother, my sister, in the matter. Just around that same time, the death of Tatane placed both the issue of rising anger over a lack of service delivery as well as police brutality in the media spotlight, with comparisons being drawn to the deaths of Hector Peterson and Steve Biko at the hands of the police right there in South Africa in the days of apartheid. My brother, my sister, now when this matter was investigated, it came out that the police was guilty. They shot a man who was unarmed, a man who totally did not even hold a paper. He held nothing. 4 to 5 policemen pulled the trigger at him, shot him twice in the chest, broke his head with big batons. Brother, my sister, Andries Tatane went down the drain. The brutality was condemned by the ANC, condemned by the Coop. And after visiting the Tatane family in Fricksburg on the 19th of April 2011, the Anglican Archbishop of Cape Town, Dr. Thabo Makagoba, directed attention to the lack of justice and delivery on promises which had preceded the incident. And he pointed out that politicians to keep their word and also asked police to move away from violence. After all, it's the same people whose taxes are used to train you and to pay you. Jacob Zuma, my brother, my sister, also publicly apologized for the embarrassment caused the nation by the police. This was 2011. My brother, my sister, the Archbishop subsequently said, let us affirm and call for a renaming of our police services back to safety and security and not a police force. For this force seems to maim and kill rather than give safety and security. So South Africa was asked never to call the police force, but rather safety and security. My brother, my sister, the death of Tatane raised eyebrows all over the place. The youth went out on the streets and fought so much to be able to fight for his death. Tatane died at the age of 33. Tatane has been mentioned in a book, in fact, written about him. And the book is titled Static: Race and Representation in Post-Apartheid Music. In fact, a lot of poetry also captured him. In music, Andries Tatane is named in a struggle song of the economic freedom fighters in memoriam of his death and solidarity for justice for his death. Today we remember you, Papa. You died fighting for your people. You were always seeking justice for your community and black people. When the police started firing water cannons at the people, you stood in the way of the water cannon vehicle and refused to let it move because a lot of your people were being injured. And when the police started beating you with batons, you argued with the police, asking them if they were there to kill you or they were there to guide you to protest. After all, the protest was not against the police, it was against the system. My brother, my sister, this angered the police. 4 to 5 police people pulled out their guns and fired shots at you. They hit you twice in the chest. You collapsed and died, oh, as a martyr for the freedom of your people. Papa, uninyamenko. Papa damifadie, Baba now. Baba now. Oh, Baba now. Damifadie. Oh, ni amane wono. Andries Tatane. Oh, today we remember you. And in the burden of knowledge, we ask you, now that you know what we do, be an enio, lay a mini about Fay and Zuda Kagane Mezaka Yini. Yeah, Pabango Bokai and Nunfifia and Yanukai na Wabana and then Lele and Jima Singer Bekone, Lele and Jima Singer Berry. It's been the African History class.